The year is 2035, and your child is graduating from high school. What is he like? What choices has she made? Does he have a relationship with God? Welcome to Explore Parenting, where you will spend the next 3 weeks asking big questions about your child's future and discovering how you can set your child up for success when it comes to matters of faith. My name is Ryan Page. I'm the weekend content producer for Kid City and the dad of 4 nutcases I sometimes refer to as children. I am so excited that you are here in this class. Taking time to invest in yourself to become a better parent will have a huge payout in the life of your child. And don't worry, everybody here starts on the same ground. Parenting is one of the great equalizers of the world. Nobody's done it before they've done it. Our life experiences, our education, and even our time spent in church are neither limiting nor qualifying when it comes to being a great parent. Every parent starts off totally clueless with the exact same question. What do I do now? We all want to do what's right by our children, but without some guidelines and a goal to reach for, we're just going to do the best that we can. It's easy for parents to get driven by the things that are urgent. The feeding, the cleaning, the changing, the diapers. All of that stuff is necessary, but it doesn't really take us anywhere. And as parents, we're incredibly vulnerable to the enormous pressures that are around us. Pressure from others, pressure from magazines and from Pinterest. And if we're honest, the pressure we put on ourselves most of all. But being driven by urgency and by the pressure, it makes us parent in a certain way. We parent reactively. We're just responding to the circumstances as they come our way. Well, we want better for you. We want you to see parenting as a journey marked by faith with a clear destination in mind from the very beginning. Being driven by the future allows us to parent differently. It allows us to parent proactively, making decisions ahead of time that you believe are best for you and for your child. And so the question we want you to ask is not, what do I do now? But what do I want from my child as an adult? Adults? Don't stop it, Ryan. They're just babies. Yes, for now. But the reality is, we're not raising children, are we? We're raising adults. And I know it seems like a long way off, but that time goes by really fast. There are approximately 936 weeks from the day a child is born until he or she graduates from high school. This jar has 936 marbles in it. This is how many weeks you have with your newborn. This is 936 Saturdays off, 936 Monday morning kisses, 234 times to flip a calendar, 72 season changes, 18 birthdays, 18 Christmases, 18 summer vacations. And every time a week goes by, the number you have gets smaller. Every Monday morning, you send your child off to school. That's another week. Every time you get up and go to church as a family, another week has gone. And week by week, you are literally losing your marbles. How old's your child now? About 6 months? You have 910 weeks left before they turn 18. Now, I'm not trying to depress you. I'm just trying to illustrate how fast this time really goes and maybe raise the bar a little on what happens in your day-to-day life. Reggie Joyner, the founder of the curriculum we use in Kid City and in student ministries, came up with this illustration. And he said, this is why you need to play for keeps. Playing for keeps simply means you get serious about what you do with your time. If you stop occasionally and count your weeks, you tend to make your weeks count a little more. Then you become intentional about doing the things that matter most. And as smart as Reggie is, he didn't come up with this principle first. God did. It says in Psalm 90, verse 12, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." See, stopping to consider how much time you have left with your children has a profound impact on what you choose to do for them and with them, because it puts into perspective the things that really should be getting your time and your attention. So, what do you want for your child when they walk across that stage in 2035, or in 2045, or 2055? Health? Happiness? Success? Good relationships? I once heard Craig Groeschel, the founder of LifeChurch.tv, pretty accurately sum up the standard American dream of parenting. He said, "We want to raise happy, healthy, well-rounded kids." And then he said something that I'll never forget. He said, "I don't want any of those things for my kids. We should be raising our children to be single-minded, Christ-centered world changers." Do you love that as much as I do? Single-minded, Christ-centered world changers. That is a man who knows what he wants for his kids, and that is a destination that he can strive to reach with them. You can wish for all kinds of amazing things for your kids, but we believe that the most important thing that you can give them is the foundation on which they can build a faithful relationship with Jesus Christ. We believe that setting them up for success means passing on a faith and a trust in God that will give them hope and strength and a future, so when they walk across that stage in 2035 and out into the real world, they are ready to face that world and change it for the better. I know you probably came here expecting to get some practical advice on raising babies. Sorry. But that's what this Explore Parenting class is really all about. Passing on faith to the next generation. This week, we start by looking at the journey ahead and setting a destination for our children. Next week, we'll talk about getting your kids on the path that will actually lead them there, and the most important thing that you can do throughout your child's life. And in the last week, we'll actually give you the map on how to navigate this spiritual journey with your children. And we'll be examining one key piece of scripture that will be our guide. It's in Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 through 9. And in these 6 verses, we get the destination, the path, and the map for passing on faith to the next generation. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. In the very first verse, Moses gives the people of Israel their focus. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. God Himself is to be their focus and their destination. They are to be a people defined by their allegiance to their God. And that goal has not changed in more than 3,000 years. We are to be defined by a relationship with the same God who called the people of Israel out of slavery and gave them a home. That is your destination, and that is your children's destination, a relationship with God. So, what do we need to do to actually get them there? How do we give our children the best possible chance of having a relationship with God of their own when they turn 18? Well, research has shown that there are a number of significant influences that need to be present in our children's life if they're going to grow up with faith. One of those influences is the church. Duh, right? Well, the church has about 40 hours in any given year with a child. That's 40 weekends once you consider vacations and sicknesses and closings. 40 hours of high-impact, memorable opportunities for your kids to be engaged with the gospel of Jesus Christ and hear His truth. But the most significant influence in the life of a kid is not the church, not even in matters of faith, and not by a wide margin. It's the parents, mom and dad, influence 1 and 2, that are the greatest spiritual influences when it comes to whether or not a child grows up with faith. And it's largely a numbers game. Compared to the church's 40 hours in any given year with a child, that child's parents have about 3,000 hours available to them. And that's a conservative estimate for school-aged children that are in school 5 days a week, 9 months out of the year. So, parents, we have to be engaged in the process. We cannot just rely on the church to give our kids faith. It's our job to pass it along. And I know that might seem really overwhelming or frightening and like an unfair level of responsibility. So I want you to know something today. You are not alone as a parent. It would be awful of us to tell you what you need to do and then not help you with it. It would be unbiblical, actually. The very first phrase of our key passage in Deuteronomy 6 begins with this: "Hear, O Israel." Not "Hear, O parents," "Hear, O Israel." This is a command for the entire faith community. It is a command for every single person living as a member of the family of Israel, saying that every single child who is a member of that family is the responsibility of the entire community. Passing on faith to the next generation has always been designed to be a partnership between the two most significant influences in a child's life, their parents and the church. As an organization, Kid City has a ton of ways that we are going to partner with you in the spiritual journey of your children. Dynamite weekend experiences, take-home material to engage your kids' lessons, websites and apps full of resources that are going to help you navigate every phase of your child's development. In fact, your host of this class has a sheet for you full of resources that we've either created or gathered just for you. But even more important than Kid City is the church, the body of Christ. At Hope, you are surrounded by thousands of people who are potential influencers of your child. Thousands of other people who are seeking for themselves and for their children the very same thing that you are seeking for yours: a relationship with God. I mean, just look around the class. These other families are in exactly the same spot that you are. So don't be a superhero. Lean into the faith community that you and your child are already a part of. Parenting was never meant to be a solo gig. Working together, the church and the home, we can set your child on the path of developing a relationship with God that will take them into adulthood. But the bottom line for this week is that we have to start with the destination in mind. You have to know where you want to end up. What is your child like when she graduates from high school? What choices has he made? Does she have a relationship with God? You saying yes to that question now, while they're small, gives them the best opportunity of it being true of them when they're grown.